Natalie MacDonald and you're watching Dukascopy TV. The Swiss National Bank has today opted to maintain interest rates at 0%, meeting market expectations. Dukascopy Bank's very own Marc Spaelti is in the studio with us now to discuss this further. Marc, thank you very much for coming in. Nice to bring you out from behind the scenes.
Hi, Natalie.
Now, this SNB rate decision, what Swiss franc response have we seen?
We've not seen all that much response. The Euro Swiss is more or less trading in a bigger getting range. It's stabilizing above 123. This said, of course, there was no surprise that the Swiss National Bank came to the conclusion to leave interests at zero. That was expected, and therefore there was no market reaction due to that decision.
Concentrating on the Swiss franc, we've got Michael Snade from BNP Paribas has stated, the Swiss franc on long-term valuation metrics is by far the most expensive currency within the G10, and I think that's why they've been able to get away with keeping that 120 floor on the Euro Swiss. Now, we know that the 120 floor was put in place solely for the purpose of that the Swiss franc was overvalued, but with the currency weakening 2.3% since the beginning of 2013, is this still a statement that you would agree with?
Yes, it is. If you think of the most recent 2.3% weakness of the Swiss franc from the 120 floor, it's really a very small movement in perspective to the SNB, who had announced when putting the 120 floor in place that the Swiss franc was 35 to 40% overvalued. So if you look at it in this way, we've only just reversed about 10 to 15% of the situation. There's still a lot more to go.
Now, the SNB President Thomas Jordan has stated that downside risks to the Swiss economy remain considerable. Now, the economy is expected to expand 1.2% with anticipated expansion of 1.6% in 2014. Joblessness, while remaining near a two-year high of 3.1%, is still well below the euro area average of 11.9%. Where are these risks?
The risks are obviously that Switzerland cannot get that 1.6% growth as expected. Don't forget, the euro area is still, or continues to be, and will be the most important trading partner of Switzerland. More than about 80% of the products are being delivered to Europe. And if the European recession keeps dragging out, there's probably going to be a bit of a shortfall on exports. Last year, these shortfalls were mostly compensated with luxury goods, which were going to Asia. We'll have to see if, of course, there's potential that still lifts the whole of the economy, and that's why Switzerland is, relatively speaking, very well placed compared to Europe. But the risks are still there that Europe orders less, there will be less exports, and therefore growth forecasts cannot be reached.
Do you think the SNB is still trying to garner public confidence following the 19 billion franc loss in 2010?
The Swiss National Bank doesn't really have any other choice than talk the Swiss franc down a little bit. They must not say anything that is too bullish Swiss franc, because it will drag a wave of new speculators that want to buy Swiss franc and at the same time test that 120 floor. So at the moment, the Swiss National Bank, as you just mentioned it, they have accumulated this huge sum of euro, and the only way forward is really to slowly reduce that exposure in the coming years. So it will not be a matter of a few weeks, it's a matter of many years to slowly evacuate this euro, and preferably while the Euro Swiss is, let's just call it above 122, maybe it's even 130, and as it goes up, of course, there will be book profits for the SNB. That is probably less of importance. The important thing really is to keep the market psychology in a way that they accept Euro Swiss to be or stay above 120.
But with nearly 200 billion Swiss francs spent last year on interventions, 10 times that of 2011, is that outlay really worth it to the economy?
Apparently it is. It is. I do not think that the SNB, when they put in their floor, had much of an idea of how many Swiss franc they have to, or for how many Swiss franc they have to come and intervene. Now, it stands at 200 billion. It's just simply a huge sum. All that it does is kind of make sure that Switzerland remains well positioned for the future, because they have the cash, they are able to invest anywhere in the world that they would like. Which of course in itself kind of will keep the Swiss franc strong for the foreseeable future. Therefore, I am very doubtful that Euro-Swiss would eventually go above 130, even if that is possible. Now, if this was too much spent, well, put it in relation to the money that has been printed in the US, in Europe. Yes, 200 billion sounds like a big amount for the Swiss. And no, it's not all that big of an amount if we think of the trillion of dollars and euro that have been put in circulation. So I think they're absolutely fine with that.
Marc, thank you very much for joining us.
Welcome.
We'll be back tomorrow with representatives from UBIS and Societe Generale, so we look forward to seeing you then. Goodbye for now.